Hello, I'm Mr. Hueth. This is Lucifer. We're here for a October dosage of horror. Now today we're just going to talk about some random horror movies. We're going to be mainly going over the stuff that's pretty much remakes. Either movies that have been like rebooted, the franchise has just been like so dead that they brought back a new movie, or maybe it was a foreign film that was brought over for an American audience, or a Canadian audience, I guess, or English, or it was transferred to another place, but I don't live there, so I don't know. So when I was in high school, Japanese horror cinema really blew up, and really, it came out with some of the biggest names that I can think of right now. Ringu, Juon, I think Audition came out during that time too. But South Korean horror genre actually started booming too. I think Shudder was one of those. And a lot of these movies got brought over into an American audience. Recommending these movies is difficult. I have not seen Ringu. I have seen The Ring, and I love The Ring. I highly recommend it. Do not watch the second one. I still need to see Ringu. I hear very good things about it, so I'm assuming it's going to be a good one. As for The Grudge and the Japanese original Juon, I really like Juon. I think it's a great movie. Juon 2 is actually pretty good too. I don't think I've seen the third, or if I have, it was so bad that I forgot it. The Grudge, the first one, is worth a watch, but it's not the greatest. You can pass on it, honestly. The second one, I don't even remember. Third one, I remember because it hurt my feelings so much. One movie, I think it is I think it's Swedish, Let the Right One In. It's not so much it's not really a horror movie as much as it's kind of a supernatural drama. However, it does fit into the horror genre for a lot of the subtexts of it, and kind of the fact that there's vampire in it. They did an American remake, Let Me In. I haven't seen it, but from what I understand, is a shot-for-shot remake of the movie, which, if you've seen one, you've seen the other, might as well watch the other one. I mean, can't be that bad. That's all I really have to say about the foreign films that have been adapted. If there are any that you know, please let me know. I'm always on the lookout for these kind of films. And yeah. Let's move on to reboots, such as, let's go with the slashers first. Friday the 13th had a reboot a couple years ago, and I actually saw that one. I didn't think it was that bad. It was actually a pretty good Friday the 13th film. It's not as good as the first original one, only because the original one actually was really interesting and brought something new to the table. Then after that, it just kind of got progressively slasher worse, which is just terrible. If you watch Jason X, it's bad. Totally worth the time to watch it at least once, though, because it's bad enough that you're like, yes, I am watching this right now. Get a bunch of friends together, get some popcorn, watch the movie, and just rip it apart as it's going. Fantastic time. Another good movie for that one, Fear.net. Great movie for that. On the subject of Friday the 13th, they are apparently rebooting it again. I do not know the particulars, but it's supposed to come out in the next couple of years. I'm just curious as to the fact that they've rebooted it, and now they're rebooting it again. I don't know why they don't just make another one. At this point, you don't really have to reboot the series. Just use Jason in a good slasher flick. Very hard to do. But all you have to do is just make a good movie, and it should do fine. You don't have to be oh, we have to reboot the entire franchise, then it'll be good. It's no, just make a good one. And then people will take off from your good one and make it terrible again. So Nightmare on Elm Street is another one. They rebooted it a couple of years back. I can't remember now. I actually went to go see that one in theaters. I liked the reboot. The first movie, like the original, it's good, but rebooting it wasn't that bad of an idea. It needed a bit of an update, just because Freddy's character as the series went on got ridiculous. It it was part of his charm, but it was also one of those, like, now he's just he's scary because he kills you, that's it. He makes a bunch of jokes, does a bunch of ridiculous things, and eventually he kills you. So you just have to be, like, there, and then you die. That's it. That's what happens in those movies. So, yeah, those are my feelings on that. The Rob Zombie Halloween remakes, I really like them. The Rob Zombie remake did two things. One, it turned into a Rob Zombie film. The fact that Rob Zombie has he has like a family archetype. There's the stripper mother, the deadbeat dad who is incestuous, he is a endophile, or most of the time both, the slutty sister, and the messed up kid. Usually the messed up kid is the kid that's like physically deformed, and it's weird. However, in this one, he does make that archetype, but he does add a lot of character development to Michael, and that really made the movie a little bit better. Not as, like, I think the first Halloween still stands, and the Halloween, like the Rob Zombie Halloweens, kind of stand alone. Like, it's a good look from a fan point of view of what it could be, but the originals are still there, and they're still good. Still watch those. Especially since the second Rob Zombie Halloween totally skims over Halloween 2, like the original, and that movie was really fascinating, because I can't think of another slasher flick that takes place right after the first one ended. Like, literally, like, the same night. It picks up right there. It's perfect. One I really want to talk about, because I just saw the remake recently, came out last year, is Carrie. Now, Carrie, the remake, kind of did what the Rob Zombie remakes did of Halloween, where they fleshed out the characters, and the characters seemed a lot more interesting. They seemed like people, and it was interesting to see these characters as people and see their motivations and all that. However, it actually made the movie less scary than the original, because now we see the motivations. It's less shock terror. Like, in the original Carrie, spoiler alert, she burns down the school. Well, at least the gymnasium where the prom's being held, killing a bunch of kids. However, in that one, you didn't really get to see too many people's characterization. Not even the relationship between Carrie and her mom, which they did really well in the remake. But you don't really see that correlation. You just kind of see her mom's crazy, she lives with her mom, so she's very emotionally distressed, and she has to look at that terrifying Jesus statue. I don't know what it is about that statue in the first Carrie, but the eyes, they burn in my soul. That's the first thing that I remember literally scaring me. I don't think I slept that night when I saw that. Not even the movie itself scared me. So they didn't really explore any of the character relationships in the original, but when things happened, it didn't seem like Carrie was like being vengeful and like killing all these people because she was angry and all that. She was just distraught with emotion, and as she didn't know how to use her power, didn't understand it, didn't know what was going on, she just kind of went into like a fury, and anyone caught in her path was just destroyed. It didn't matter who it was, and in a way, it made her a little more innocent in the matter. Like, she just kind of went crazy in that moment. And in the new one, she seems a lot more vengeful in a very malicious like way, so she's less relatable of a character. She's no longer like the innocent victim that like everything terrible happens to her and eventually it just explodes. It's still the same story of like the person who gets bullied eventually becomes the bully, but it's less sympathetic towards the person who's being bullied. Where the original one, it was a lot more generous in that matter. I'm currently on the lookout for a Serbian film. I want to watch it, but I don't really want to buy it, because then I have it, and that's weird. Like, that's not one of those things where you're like, hey, what should we watch today? Hey, what's this movie? Serbian film. I just, no, don't put that in. Oh, come on, it can't be that bad. Don't put that film in there. In the future, I think I'm going to be putting up some recommendations on Twitter of movies that either I'm watching, movies that are so terrible I think you really should watch, just, you know, to get that warm, fuzzy feeling of, man, this is bad. Like, sometimes you need to watch a bad film just to see how good other films can be. and how good, like, people are like, oh, this is a terrible movie, and you come back, you're like, I've seen some bad stuff. This is not bad stuff. I mean, it's not great. It's not bad, though. I think that's going to wrap it up for right now. Any other recommendations, please let me know. So, as always, remember who you are, what you are. Don't cause any trouble out there in that world. And always remember, if there's someone left in the house, you never go back for them. Unless it's the dog. Always go back for the dog. I'm good with it. Are you good with it?
Yeah.
She's good with it. How are you, Booster? Are you good with it? Thought so. He's been good.